And if you get to the end of the year and you're in the same place, think about that. You're in the same place that you are right now at the end of 2025. How freaking sad is that? Hey guys, welcome back to the video. Hope you guys are having a great 2025. I mean, we've got 10 days until President Trump takes office. It's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be a great year. I just wrapped up a 2-day planning process for my company, Johnny Slicks. We got away from the team. We went to one of our Airbnbs and we just locked in for 2 days of planning, talking about 2025. Now we had done pre-planning, but we got the whole leadership team together, worked on how are we going to make 2025 just a banging year. And, in 2024, we did the same thing and we doubled the revenue, became an 8-figure company. Now we're going to do double even more. It's nuts, but we're adding retail. There's Amazon. There's all kinds of different things that we're adding into the business structure for 2025. And so because of that, we have to get a little bit more dialed in. We have to create some good habits. So last week, I think it was last week, we made a video talking about the planning process. And it's a very rudimentary video about how I plan, how I break things down in my time in special operations and what I learned there and how I've applied it to business and my personal life. Well, outside of that, you have to create habits, right? So that's what I want to talk to you about today is like, okay, you have your plan. Well, now let's execute it. How can we create really good habits to benefit that plan? Because you can have all the plan and the greatest plan in the world. And the reality is if you do not have really good habits, really positive habits that are in line with your goal. A great quote from a good friend of mine said, imagine the man that you want to be. What's the perfect version of yourself? And what habits does he have? Let's just emulate those habits. And over a period of time, guess what? You become that man. There's a great book by, I believe his name's James Clear, Atomic Habits. I highly recommend you reading that book. It explains it in detail, probably in too much detail. But one of the things that we do in the Agoge is, one of the pillars is discipline. Well, discipline is what breeds consistency. And those are the things, when you really break all that stuff down, all that is nothing more than creating positive habits. Right. Let's look at the key point one here is understanding how habits work. Right. And then there's something called a habit loop. And every habit has a cycle. And if you understand it, you can break habits down and to build new ones. So for me, my morning habits are, I set myself up for success. I wake up, I go take a pee. And I've talked about this a lot. I go take a pee, I weigh myself, I log my weight. Then I stumble into the kitchen. I get my BPN reds, greens, and my creatine. I mix 5 milligrams of creatine every morning. And then I get my electrolytes. And then depending on the day, right, there's jiu-jitsu mornings and then there's lifting mornings. Depending on the day, I'll go in there. Sauna's already cranked on. I've got it built up. I've got it programmed. So the sauna's cranking at 230 degrees. I bust out my computer and I do my GSD list. So whether it's studying for a test, something I'm learning, if it's writing copy, if it's, whatever the thing is that I set the intention the night before, that's what I get done. Boom. In the sauna, cold plunge, and then it's onto a lift or, whatever I have for that day. What I've done is I've created this system. So there's no longer this thought process. Reminds me of back in the day when I did, if you guys remember on this channel, there's a series called 60 Sessions in 30 Days. So as a white belt, which guys, that's been almost 5 years now, 5 years ago. As a white belt, I did 60 sessions in 30 days. Highly don't recommend it. It almost killed me. Now I could do it a lot easier because I'm not working as hard. But then I was just fighting for my life. I was just surviving. And it got to a point where it was really dark. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm just being 100% honest with myself. Like, I don't know if I can endure this anymore. Like, I was just beat. I mean, I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to get my ass kicked. I have to work all day. Keep in mind, I'm running businesses, right? I'm running businesses and I've got a family. I've got a newborn. Dimitri was just born. So it's not like I could check out all day. And then at night at 7:30 p.m., I'm going to another class. And I did that every single day, 7 days a week for 30 days. And it got to a point where I was like, I'd wake up and I'd be like, I don't know if I can do this. But here's the deal. I created the habit of packing my bag before. So I literally didn't have to think. I just had to wake up and I would wear what I was going to wear to the gym. My bag was packed. So I would get up and I would literally just walk out the door, grab my bag, walk out the door in the truck. Before I even woke up, I'm at the gym. It's happening. And that's kind of what I'm talking about is stacking habits. So the habit loop is cue. What is the cue to create the habit, right? And then the craving for that, the reward, all right? and then the craving for that thing, and then the response, right? What is the response for having that habit? And then the reward. Now, the reward is what's interesting here for me, is because typically when you create habits, the reward doesn't come until the end. If I go to the gym every day for a week, what's the reward? Yeah, you're going to start getting some dopamine hits. You're going to start feeling better. But is your body really going to change? No, it's like a 3 month to 6 month down the road, right? You're prolonging the reward. It's not instant gratification. But these habits, by stacking them, the only way to get there is the consistency of doing that. Real quick, let's talk about the law of gravity, right? If my habit is to, for instance, quit drinking, day one is really hard, right? The gravitational pull, right? If I'm on the planet and I jump up, the gravitational pull is really good, really hard. I'm gonna start falling. But if I'm, in the atmosphere, past the atmosphere, and I jump off a platform, well, in space, I'm not going anywhere, right? Gravitational pull isn't as strong as being right here on the ground. So day one, creating that habit, creating that system is very, very difficult. Day two is pretty difficult. Might not be as difficult as day one, but it's still difficult. Now, day 30, the gravitational pull from day one, quitting smoking to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, day 30 is a lot better. Day 365 is way different than day one. You get what I'm saying? So this thing has a cyclic rate of return. The longer you go in this habit, the more reward there is, right? And the less gravitational pull that you have that. So I want you to think about what you want to build in 2025. What is the cue? What is the craving? What is the response? And then what is the reward that will drive it? And a lot of guys, like, say, for instance, it's weight loss. Well, what's the reward? Having your son or having your kid look at you like your superhero, right? Not like the fat dad sitting on the sidelines. We deal with a lot of that in the Agoge. What is the reward? A better relationship with my wife, not being able to have to sleep with a CPAP because I've got, 60 pounds on my chest, whatever it is for you. All right. Now, I want you to think about this. Now a lot of you guys are like, oh, it's overwhelming, quitting drinking, etc. All of this stuff can be extremely difficult, right? So don't make it difficult. Don't make it difficult. Progress over perfection. And I love this rule of the 1% rule. All I have to do is get 1% better every single day. That's it. 1% better. If you can get 1% better every single day, by the end of the year, you are 37 times better. Do the math. Just focus on 1% every single day. Now, this goes back to the planning process, right? Think about that video. Think about what I was talking about. If you have to lose 30 pounds in 90 days, I don't need to lose 30 pounds in 90 days. I need to lose 10 pounds a month. Nope. 2.5 pounds a week. Nope. I need to lose 0.33 pounds. I think it's 0.33 or 0.35 pounds a day. That's your 1%. I don't have to worry about the BHAG. I don't have to worry about the big, hairy, audacious goal. I don't have to worry about the end result. I just need to focus on today, because today is what I can deal with. I can't worry about tomorrow. I can't worry about 3 months from now. I can't worry about a year from now. All I have is today. That's what I've got in front of me. So I know that today because I've created a plan that I have to create my environment to do what I need to do. So what I mean by that is this. You have to habits, like what I just did. I habit stack. I, weigh myself. I go in there. I do my supplements. I go in there. I get my GSD list. My bag is packed, etc. Everything is laid out before. It's small, but it's part of my routine now. It's part of the way that I do things. That's it. So I'm making it easy for myself. All right. And we're about to get into making it even easier for yourself. So like when I was doing the jiu-jitsu thing, I set up my gym bag, I set up my gym clothes the night before. This eliminates my excuses in the morning. I don't have to even fucking think about. I just execute. All right. So think about that. What is the one thing that you can do? What is the 1% you can get you can get better every single day that's going to lead you to 37 times better by the end of the year? Now think about that. If you get to 2025 is going to be the most transitional year for a lot of people. Like, I'm going to make so much more money this year. My investments are going to do so much better. I'm going to invest more money. I'm going to capitalize on what this economy is about to happen over the next 4 to 6 years. In 6 years, I'm going to have generational wealth built. In 6 years, I'm out of the rat race. I'm done. It's a wrap. Okay. But I'm setting that intention now, right now. And if you get to the end of the year and you're in the same place, think about that. You're in the same place that you are right now at the end of 2025, how freaking sad is that? Or if you just get 1% better every single day, by the end of the year, you're 37 times the man that you were at the beginning of the year. All right. So key point 3 here is designing your environment for success. And there's a lot of people have a problem. A lot of people have a really big issue with this. What I mean by that is, if you're trying to lose weight, All right, you're trying to have better habits, try to eat better, and you know, it's new year, new you bullshit going on, right? A lot of people are like, hey, listen, I've really got to get my health in order. I've really got to get my weight in order. So what am I doing here? What do I mean by environment? Well, if you've got chips and cookies and Doritos and I don't even know, whatever the garbage shit that's in your pantry, if that's in the house, how is that environment setting you up for success? If all you've got is apples and bananas and steak, cottage cheese, some Greek yogurt, that's all you got. So set yourself up for success. Make your environment support the habits that you're wanting to instill. Make your environment support the system or the results that you want. For instance, if you want to stay hydrated, you carry your bottle of water bottle, you put it on your desk. You're staring at it. Make sure you drink more water. If you keep all the junk food in your house, this is a negative habit, a negative thing, your negative environment. If you keep junk food in the house, you're going to eat it. So remove the temptation. And then I've said this, your network is your net worth. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your 5 people that you spend the most time with are fat dads sitting around the water cooler or whatever talking about bullshit, guess what you are? You're the same thing. You hang around 5 fit dads that are doing jiu-jitsu, they're talking about it, and they're lifting together and doing all kinds of crazy stuff all the time together, and you're bringing your kids into that. Guess what you're going to be? The same thing. You're going to fall in. If 5 of your friends are millionaires, guess what you're going to be? Over time, you're going to be the 5th millionaire. It's just the way that it works. As I've elevated my education, I've elevated my stature, I've elevated my business, so have I my circle. And because of that, I get more insights, I'm doing more networking, right? And my net worth has increased drastically. So you are who you spend the most time with. So surround yourselves with those that are going to push you. Surround yourself with those that have high expectations of you. It's not bad. They're holding you accountable. Okay. And that leads me to key point 4 is tracking and progress and building accountability. You can't improve what you don't measure. If you're not measuring things, you don't know the improvement. So track your stuff. Though in the Agoge, we have multiple ways of tracking. Get a freaking notebook. I'm not saying you have to join the Agoge, but you should. So we have sheets in there. We've got apps. We've got all kinds of things based on the individual and how they like to track. You know, we've got PDFs, et cetera, that you can track we track the discipline tracker. We've got nutrition trackers. We got family fitness tracker. We got everything. That's everything. Because again, if you can't measure it, how are you improving it? Okay. The tracking progress is absolutely critical to create a habit tracker, use a journal, a simple checklist to stay on track, whatever it is. But you have to put pen to paper in some way, shape, or form to be able to track what you're doing. We used to have these, we call them the green monsters, and that everybody had one back in the day before all these apps and shit. And we would write down, bench press, 12 sets, this much weight every set. I would write down my food log, and hell, I still have those books now. I can go back, almost 20 years ago and look at some of my logs. It's actually very interesting. Outside of the tracking, it's building accountability. Publicly telling people your goals does something up here. You're like, oh shit, I've actually said it. I've said it, and now I have to actually do it. Telling your significant other, this is what my goals are, having that discussion. What happens then is you're creating a shared goal with someone, or you're creating that accountability. So when you don't feel like doing it, like my wife, like the other night, she was like, she didn't work out in the morning. And I said, babe, I've got dinner. I'm going to go cook some steaks in the Blackstone. Me and the little guy are going to do this. Why don't you go inside the gym, knock out a workout? I don't know. And I said, and I kind of tricked her. It's funny. She doesn't watch this, but I was like, oh, you don't have to. You're probably a little worn down from the day. Don't worry about it. Next thing I know, I hear the music kick on in the gym, and she's working out. You know what I mean? It's a little reverse psychology there, but it wasn't much, but it was just to get her body moving. We had been in a planning meeting all day long. She didn't move. I got up early and did mine. She did hers while I was cooking dinner. It's done, right? But that's that accountability. We hold each other accountable. We hold each other accountable because I know that she has a goal. She's turning 40 in a certain time. She looks amazing, but she's always trying to 1% better every single day. So that's why, for me, having the accountability in the Agoge tribe keeps me consistent. My social media, my YouTube, I tell people what I'm going to do. Hey, this is my goal. I put it out there. And what that does is it tells me, hey, if I put it out there to you guys, I immediately okay, Nick, you told everybody, now you got to go execute. And it's not that I won't fail, because I've failed a ton. I've talked about that a lot, but it's not about that. It's about putting it out to the universe and then saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to stick to. And it helps that way. So again, just to kind of recap, like create habits through the habit loop, keep them small, 1% better. All we have to do is 1% better. We get 37 times better after that. All right. Create your environment to support your success. Track yourself, hold yourself accountable, get a accountability partner, or for instance, join the Agoge. That's it. We will hold you accountable. Our coaches will hold accountable. The other members in the Agoge will hold you accountable. And the reality is this, guys, for $69, where are you going to get all that? Where are you going to get the framework of mastering yourself, leading your family, mastering your finances, and then building a dynasty that outlasts you? That's the framework of the Agoge for $69 a month. What are you waiting on? It would be a freaking shame at the end of 2025 that you're the same person in the same situation that you are right now. That would be a freaking heartbreak. Don't do that. If you're watching this video, if you follow this channel, go to the link below, look at that $69 offer and get in there. I'd love to hang out with you 3 times a week, and then obviously all the other events that we do. Anyways, success in 25 won't come from one big dramatic change. Not the way it works. It comes from stacking small wins every single day that lead to a very big year. And that's the way I've built 2 8-figure business and a 7-figure business. That's the way I've done everything in my life. And that's why I built the Agoge, so I can do the exact same thing. You guys do the exact same thing over and over and over. And I freaking love it. All right. Be blessed. I love you guys. Built by discipline, driven by purpose. Peace.